Hey, I'm Jonty Kristian Mellmann. I'm 23 years old. I'm from Chalfont St Peter in Buckinghamshire, England. I went to the University of Westminster to study BA Honours Fashion Design. My graduate collection is called COUNTRYSIDE RAVE ART PROJECT, and the idea was that the characters of the British countryside, sort of barber jacket wearing, corduroyed, tweed hacking jacket people, they're rambling, so walking one day in the British countryside, and they hear some music in the distance, and they're like, that's interesting. So they venture towards it, and they find a massive techno happening, and they're a little bit shocked, but they're like, wow, this is kind of cool. And so they go and party all night, and party all day, and the next day as well. And they drink, get involved in all sorts of debauchery, lose themselves for a bit. And then after they've recovered, they think, these rave people aren't too bad. And the rave people think, these characters of the English countryside that we traditionally wouldn't technically get along with are great as well. And they sort of form a new bond, a new fictional subculture, and that is what my collection is. The 6 looks is this new subculture, each look kind of representing a different nuance or side of it. Because even within subcultures, everyone has their own style. A lot of the fabrics were dead stock materials, or just things I'd found. Some of the tweed fabrics and the tailoring fabrics, most of them are from my internships and my placement year. Some of them are from old university projects, what I'd left over. Most of it's sort of dead stock from fashion factories. But then there are other pieces which are sort of cut up charity shop clothes, cut up old tablecloths and like pillow covers and things like that from charity shops, thrift shops, car boot sales. And then there's even like a really low level element of it, referencing sort of crust punk subcultures, and just things like bits of metal I'd found on the floor, chains, pull tabs from beer, bottle caps, stuff like that used as embroidery. And then the idea was that using some of these sort of luxury, nice designer fabrics and just this random crap from the world that we live in, I could kind of create this new rave meets countryside luxury feel of the collection. And there are even things that were made for the collection, like I did a knitted jumper with lots of applique from older fabrics. But then sometimes there were new fabrics introduced, which wasn't really sustainable, but going forward I think I'm going to try and eliminate that from my own work because I think it's quite important. The traditional and the rave coming together to form a new subculture. With regard to the fashion industry, I think now more than ever we can see that the world is, it's not at a good point. Apparently we only have just under 8 years to stop irreversible climate change, and I think things we can do individually, like using dead stock fabrics, looking at supply chains and making sure things are not being sent to India, then shipped around the world and sent back, because that's what happens in this globalised world we live in. I think these things do make a difference, and also, using organic fabrics, recycled fabrics, I think that makes a huge difference, and there should be more focus on that. But what I really think would be a game changer is, serious government restrictions. I think that's sort of a pipe dream of mine, because obviously the world works in a very different way. But if we had, serious government restrictions that meant we all legally had to use recycled fabrics, or we couldn't produce above a certain amount of clothes depending on the size of your brand per year, I really think that would be a game changer for the climate crisis that we're facing.